it's really important that people like Bob Coates, Kurt Obita, and this next gentleman, Paul Metsa, those people are really important because they heard Willie Walker. And they didn't just hear him and appreciate him, they did something about it. Kurt Obita went on to record lots of records with Willie, and he made a career. He turned Willie into having a career here in the Twin Cities. And so did Bob Coates. Bob Coates heard the greatness of Willie Walker when he heard his voice, and he did something about it. He went in the studio, he put bands together, he did gigs with them. And this next gentleman and I go back a long, long ways. Paul Metsa is a songwriter and a singer himself, and rightfully very acclaimed songwriter and singer. But he heard something in Willie Walker's voice too. He heard greatness. He heard something very unique. And so he did something about it as well. The third person in town that did something about it. He called Willie and he said, man, we got to do a duo. I want you to sing. Now, Paul sings himself, but he wanted to hear Willie sing. And over 500 gigs later, 500! They had a duo. Paul took him out. They worked all over the place. And I want you to give it up for my good friend and fellow supporter of Willie Walker, huge supporter, Paul Metsa, everybody. Give it up.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here. Willie and I would have celebrated our 8th anniversary in May at Shaw's, where we played weekly. If I could get just a little more than monitors, that'd be good. But Willie got so busy, which I loved when he did, that we were going to do it when he got back. He never got back. But I just want to tell you a little bit about Paul and Willie. I was playing with a guy named Willie West, another great R&B singer. He's here tonight. He's going to join us on a tune. But Willie moved to, with his wife Patty, moved up to St. Cloud after Katrina. And so he couldn't always make the drive down for a weekly gig. So Julia Schroeder, who's stage managing tonight, said, you should call Willie Walker. I didn't even think about it. I go, sure, I'll call Willie Walker. So I called Willie. I said, I pick 10 tunes. I'll have 10 tunes. It's 2 sets. And he showed up and we started playing at Rudolph's Barbecue. The first break, we were standing outside chatting, and we know each other a little bit because I used to book the V-Teens and Willie at Famous News, but we didn't really know each other personally. So we were just starting to talk about something, and for some reason the number 33 came up. And he said, that's a special number for me. I said, why is that? He goes, because that's the age that my brother died, Sam Cooke died, and Jesus died. And I thought, well, this is giving me a glimpse of this guy. He's a heavy dude. So we started to play weekly, pretty much every week for about 9 years. And I lived right down the street from Shaw's. Thursday was my happy place with Willie, because when I would get to Shaw's, Willie was always there first. He'd be having a bite to eat, a lot of times with his lovely wife, Judy. And I'd always eat after the gig, but I'd come in and I'd hear that laugh of his ricocheting off the walls. How many people know that Willie laugh? That was the greatest damn laugh in America. Just made you feel better. He was, we rehearsed a few times over the years. I'd go over to his house in East St. Paul, right up the street, and he always had black and white cowboy movies on. And occasionally he'd take out his guitar to show me a tune. And Willie was missing his middle finger on his fretting hand. He got it chopped off when he was working at a metal factory. So he'd be playing these chords. I go, Willie, I have no freaking idea what that chord is. And Wilbur Cole, his old buddy, said it best, told Willie once, and Willie was a damn good rhythm guitar player, but Wilbur told him once, Willie, just put down the guitar and sing. And he did a damn good job of that. There was, I was there the night Julia Schroeder took in Rick Estrin. We were playing at Shaw's, and Julia said, why don't we go hear Paul Metsa and Willie Walker? He goes, Willie Walker, the soul singer? He goes, yeah. He goes, I thought he was dead. Because no, he's playing this little joint in Northeast. So Rick came over, dressed to the nines. He had his gig at Famous Dave's that night. And he sat next to us for 45 minutes, and his jaw dropped down on the floor. Rick then hooked Willie up with Jim Pugh, who was Robert Cray's manager, and that was the official start of Willie's comeback. And it was so fun to see, but Willie wasn't just sitting in a rocking chair collecting dust. He had been playing with his band. He'd be sitting with the Butanes, sitting around town, and we were playing weekly, sometimes twice a week. So by the time Rick brought him out to California to do his first record, he didn't have to rehearse. His voice was like a Nolan Ryan 100-mile-an-hour fastball. A couple of personal remembrances. We played up in northern Minnesota at a place called the Comet Theater, and we were staying on Lake Vermilion at my family's cabin. And Willie loved to fish, and he was fishing all afternoon. So I went down after about 3 or 4 hours. He was loving it. I said, Willie, what do you got in the live chain? He pulled up his live chain. It had about 12 fish, and I said, what are you going to do? Take those back to St. Paul and put them in your aquarium? Because they weren't really big. We cooked them up. The next night, my brother invited us out to a barbecue at his cabin. And this is the definition of true love. So they had a little dog named Scooter. And Scooter was a little tiny thing, and my brother had big dogs. So Judy asked me, should I take Scooter? And I said, geez, I'm a little worried if you would. Why don't you just leave him here at our cabin? Judy got a little miffed, and she said, well, then I'm not going to go. And Willie went up to her and said, you got to go. I don't want to be the only black person at the barbecue. That is true love. When people ask Willie when we go places, they say, Willie, how's it going? Willie would always say, it's gotta go. Willie was the greatest natural musician I've ever played with, and thinking back over these last 5 weeks since he's been gone, I really think Willie Walker was not just a wonderful musician, but with his class, with his soul, with his smile, and with his angelic singing voice, Willie Walker was in fact a gift from God.